Hey, it's Mr. Dorner. I'm going to show you a little bit about Soundtrap today. Three main goals that we have. One, we're going to show you how when you get in there where everything kind of lives. Number two, we're going to show you how to create a project, and by that I mean not only like create your actual project, but then add some tracks to it, and then how to get others involved in your project, or if somebody else creates a project, how you're going to get involved in theirs. So, kind of three main things today. All right, hold on while I share my. All right, so I went to Soundtrap right here. I'm at soundtrap.com, and I'm signed in under Miss Tooley, but you should look pretty similar to this. It says EDU user. It's got your name up there. You can go ahead and monkey around with it, but the basic thing we're gonna do is be in here. If I click on Soundtrap on the top left, or even my name on this at the top right, it takes you back to this home page. Some things here. There's my projects. This is all the things that you've either started and are kind of like the administrator of, or things that maybe you've been invited to. You can see Ms. Tooley's been invited to a couple things here. You click accept and you're in. You can create an assignment or you can start a collaboration. That's more of a teacher thing, so I don't want you to get confused by that. But that's kind of all the stuff you're going to do. The main way you're going to do most of your projects, however, is by going into the studio. Now, there's a button down here that says Enter Studio, but I think it's easiest to find it at the top. I'm going to click Studio. And this is the way you're going to create a new project. It might bring up an existing project. Go to File and hit New for a new project. I'm obviously wanting music because we're making some music. And then this is what it's going to look like. It's kind of a blank canvas at this point. There's a lot of stuff you can do. Now, it has all these different patterns and beats and loops and synths and stuff like that. We're not going to really do anything with that just yet. You can monkey around with that if you want to. But we're going to focus over here where it says Add New Track. This is where you're going to create tracks for everything you're going to need. You can make metronome tracks. You can say, hey, Mr. Jansen, I'm going to invite you to my collaboration. Can you play one part so that I have a reference practicing guide? Hey, Mr. Dorner, you said if I played part one, you would help me with part two. Can you record that? You're going to make all those tracks for everything you need here. They're easy to create, and they're also easy to delete later. Okay? I'm going to click Add New Track. Now, there's all these different things. Don't get confused. What you really want is just your simple microphone. Okay? And then it brings you up to this screen. Now, these are all these different presets you have. If you see voice over here, there's a lot of different things you can do. But really what we want is, I'm just going to delete this a second. Really what we want is just a basic microphone and a basic sound. So if I left click over here on voice one time, I get the voice clean. And that's got the pan, which means the left and right sound of the speakers. The volume is kind of halfway up, and there's no real reverb. It's just kind of a dry sound, which means if you want to later, you can add some reverb, but recording it with and taking it away is tough. This is just a blank canvas. It's a blank recording. It's ready for you to go. Now, there's one most important thing before you start recording over here. Notice this little button. It looks like a little gear and a little speaker. This is where you're going to set your microphone presets. This is really, really important. It's the number one thing we found students are forgetting so far. When I click on that, it's going to have the volume check for you, and you're going to need to do this a lot when you record. You're going to need to go find the screen and do this. And the reason we want to do this is we're generally going to stand as far away from our computer as we normally do. However, a clarinet player's sound will go down. A trumpet player's will literally go right into the microphone. A trombone will probably play off the side to the side, and they're going to be a lot quieter. So you have to do this. All you're going to do is hit a test. It's going to go and kind of check your stuff as you're playing. You're just going to keep going playing at a normal volume, and whenever it says you're done, you're done. It's that simple. It's adjusted it for you. There are ways to amplify that later if you need to, but that's it. Now, what I'm going to do is I don't want to start recording yet. I'd rather set up my whole project. So I'm going to go over here and get out of that, and I'm going to add a new track. Now, there's two ways you could do that. You could do add a new track, microphone, go over here, clean. You could reset this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Recording, presetting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm done. And then you could do a new track all like that. But maybe an easier way to do it, now that you've already got that stuff set up, is to go ahead and just duplicate track. Duplicate track. Now, if you are the person that's setting up our project, you are in charge of setting up all the tracks. I would make the tracks and then label them for everybody. So for the first track, I'm going to do a trio with Mr. Jansen, and then I'm going to do a trio with Miss Tooley, and I'm going to rename this. And then I'm going to do a trio with Mr. Dorner, and these are ready to go, okay? Now, it comes time to record. Well, we need to go back and double check that microphone check because sometimes when I add that new track, it doesn't carry through that preset. Plus, on one day I'm playing a little louder, another day I'm playing a little quieter. It's just a good idea before we start recording to do that. I'm going to click on the microphone over here. I'm going to go back to this microphone preset. I'm going to start that test again, and it's going to help me get all the balance for everything so that I can have a really good quality recording. I'm recording, it's done. And then when I hit start recording, it records me. Whenever you get done with recording, it gives you kind of that count off. I'm going to go down here and hit the record. If I hit the record, it kind of pauses it. If I hit stop, it stops it. I'm going to hit stop. And then that's it. Let's go back and see what we did. Notice how it kind of gives you basically everything we did. There's a lot of ways to manipulate this. You can move it up and say, hey, that was actually Mr. Jansen starting at the beginning. No, that was Miss Tooley starting 2 seconds in. The other problem with that is once you monkey with it, it's kind of hard to get it back to where you had it. Okay? I don't like what I recorded. Can I redo it? Yep, it's pretty easy. You can go ahead and click on this, hit delete, and it's gone. Having said that, we do want you to go through and make your first track that you're going to make a solid single playthrough track with a metronome. That at least gives you a basis to start on. If you go through and do it in bits and pieces and stuff, it does get really hard to go back and edit what you want to play. Do one sample track all the way through just to give yourself at least a place to start. If you're not able to do that, that's a pretty good indication you have not practiced it nearly enough to start, in which case practice before you come back to recording. Let's say I didn't like that take, however, I want to go back and record. Drag your cursor over and then hit record. All right. Now, we are all used to using Google products, so we're not used to saving things. And that's one thing we've noticed as well. Students will often create stuff, but they aren't very good about saving. When you go up to the top, we want you to hit save. But before you do, let's retitle the song. I'm going to call this the Band Teacher Trio. All right. And then when I hit save, I saved it. Okay. Going back to our home screen, I'm going to click over here, that little Soundtrap logo. I'm going to go back to the home screen, and you'll notice it's saved in My Projects. It's empty. I don't have anything recorded. You can see the other people that have been added to the different projects will show up here. It's empty, but I could go back and do that. To do that, simply go to My Projects, click on Studio, and you are there with everything you had just like last time. Okay? Now, to share the projects, it's pretty easy. You can do this one of two ways. You can either invite people to your collaboration, or you can send them the link. Okay? To share, here's what we're going to do. Up in the top, it says share. And enter names with all the people here. The easiest way to do it is just to enter the names. Everybody's Google school account should be in here. So if I was going to find Mr. Jansen, it should come up as Mr. Jansen's email, and I could click on him and add him, and then I'll add Miss Tooley. I could click on, oops, that's not going to find hers because I'm using her account, and mine came up, and then I'm going to click invite. Oh, I guess I need to invite Mr. Jansen to the group, which is no big deal because he's not part of the 8th grade band group, but everybody you invite will be in there, okay? You click invite. When I go back to this home screen here, I will then see where it says invites. If you're the person that created a project, you will see it under My Projects. But if you were someone that got invited to a project, you would go through here. It would say decline, accept, hit accept, and you'll be in there. And then you can start collaborating too. You click on here, you record your stuff as well. Okay, so 3 basic things we covered today. You've already gotten your Soundtrap account. All the information for it is up here. Here's where you find everything. It's on this home screen, all your groups and things like that. You won't see as much stuff as we do as teachers. But the big thing you want is the projects. They're all kind of listed here. Most of what you're going to do is in the studio. You can either click down here where it says go to studio, or you can just click the studio here, get in there, and find your projects. Okay. I'm not going to do this. I'm actually going to find load a current project or load a previous project or something like that you can do. Okay, go back there, load a previous project. And then finally, to invite people to your project, you're going to go over where it says share, and then go ahead and share that, okay? Now, it's possible you'll eventually be able to have a link to record with, but for now, it's easiest just to invite people to share. What that does is automatically loads them into your stuff, so you don't have to manually add them. It's just a little easier way of doing it. And that is everything with Soundtrap. You're inevitably going to have some questions, and that's okay. But a lot of it you're going to be able to figure out on your own. Email us if you have them.